All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Episode 4. All right, so we've got ourselves our two new dragons that have been brought into the fold.
Fafnir and Lucor.
They're not residents yet because her apartment can only hold so little people, so few. But
and they just moved.
They just moved, but also one of them is particularly a shut-in, and the other one we don't know anything really about. But
other than that she used to be a goddess.
Yes, she had some problems with liquor in her past, and maybe did something to her little sister. But what kind of frequency will we see them probably kind of visit?
That is
what
a good
does
question.
It take for them to visit?
Right.
Is it some tricky endeavor because they're coming from other worlds or something like that?
Right. Are they just gonna stay in the human world now, or what's up? Who's to say?
I mean, Fafnir needs to beat Dark Souls.
That could take a while.
That could take a long while.
That could take a while. Yeah. And if he needs a home base of operations in order to play Dark Souls, that might get complicated.
Especially because you need to have not only the gaming console and
but
a good TV,
electricity,
and to pay for all of that.
Right. His neat lifestyle might end up having some difficulties in the immediate.
He might have to sell some treasure.
No.
Wait,
no.
Fafnir ends up selling a little bit of treasure, just a little bit, and gets a new cave, and it's basically a mansion.
He gets a penthouse.
Yeah, he gets a super place or what have you, and that's where they live, basically. And he's just I don't care what you do or anything.
Just don't come into my room.
Just don't come into my room. Yeah. Moody teen Fafnir all the way. But yeah, we've got our girls and Fafnir and Takia.
And the girls.
And the girls, indeed. And let's see what antics they get up to now. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion.
This is one of my favorite episodes.
This is such a good episode. It's so many wonderful things to it.
Yep. I feel like the whole bit with school supplies and everything, and kind of just being whoa, I want to go to school too. That whole part of the episode,
skit of it,
the skit of it. Yeah. I feel like that could have been an episode on its own. But then we also had the dodgeball at the end.
We also had kind of the bits within the school part where it was talking about the idea that people don't like things that are different.
Yep.
It scares them. And the idea of uniformity being something that's a good thing by human standards because it encourages people to not search for the differences. But in some ways it actually does.
Right.
Because it highlights them even more. So rather than putting on an air of uniformity, now this is obviously a cultural difference because in some specific areas
there are benefits to both.
There are benefits to both. Yeah, I think that in some ways the idea of letting kind of people know that we're all kind of on the same page here. We're all we're all the same. We're not in some ways we have all differences, but we're not all
we are all individuals.
We're all individual. Well, the main thing I actually think that's really cool they brought up here is that Kanna, Toru, and all of them are dragons.
Yeah.
By their very nature, they're different.
Yep.
So the idea that they're learning about how humans see different as scary is oh, yeah, I get that. I understand that. And that's not necessarily something that you want to have a kid internalize. Now, they keep reminding us that Kanna, like you said, is an ancient dragon.
Right.
She is appearing as kind of a young child here, but no, she's very much aware of...
Right.
And
while she may be a kid by dragon standards...
Yes.
That's still a lot.
That's still a lot, yeah.
So...
Yeah, the bit where she was crying, I was I believed it. That looked like genuine crying. I just wanted to be friends. I'm oh, and then she has the candy in her mouth, And she's so that was you fake crying to get over that. And he's yep.
She's wow, I didn't think you'd stoop to that. Well, hey,
It worked.
It was effective.
And now Saikawa not only like is like best friends with her, but
is
also she's like kind
her.
of in love with Kanna. Like just like like
Yep.
It's, I mean, what's not to like? So yeah, we've got ourselves Kanna in school. Kanna being kind of I would say the big focus of this episode, with her trying to figure out, what is she like? What is she not like? She kind of wants to fit in a little bit more, maybe even by going to school and what have you.
Yeah.
I really, really liked, though, the moment where she considers the 500 yen little charm thing.
Yeah.
And then hears Kobayashi talking about the inconvenience of having to pay for all this money. And she's like, well, crap, I actually don't have the cash for that, so I'm going to put it on the plastic, And she's like, oh. And I didn't get actually the bit with the books immediately, so I'm glad that you caught on to that for me.
Yeah, it was like magazines with like ads for like loans that don't require like a cosigner or things like that.
Yeah. Let me actually like look it up here. No cosigner needed, same day financing, earned fortune money, boyfriend cosigner repay. So the words she was actually bringing up. Oh, right. So it's 500,000 loan, no cosigner needed. We'll teach you how to earn money in your sleep. Becoming a billionaire isn't a dream. Bring in business and good fortune. Increase your fortune just by learning these tips. Guaranteed results or your money back. How to score a boyfriend. Recommended for friends, family, and coworkers. So she's like, I see all these things as being helpful ways in which I can benefit Kobayashi, because she sees her dream of, I want to go do school stuff there, as I'm being a burden on Kobayashi. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And that is too freaking real. Like, this is something where I can like bring up stories like I'm sure you could as well, but like I'm just going to use a simple one here. I came from a family that had constantly a lot of kids in the house and what have you.
Yep.
So
big
just
family.
Buying food was a hassle.
Yep.
Like just getting that was a big deal. And I remember multiple times where it would be like, if I got more food, my dad didn't necessarily eat. Like he would be like, oh, I guess I'll figure out my food situation. I'd be like, oh,
yeah,
oh, okay, no, you can have it. It's like, I don't want to be an inconvenience to you or something like that. Or just the idea of like, I'm big grown boy, I'm gonna eat tons of food, and then like my mom would take like this really, really small portion. I'd be like,
yeah,
it's just something like that where you're like, I don't want to be a burden on you guys. And you hear like them talking about money, freaking out. I remember that age. I think I was around 10 when maybe I might have been 9, but I was either 9 or 10 when I figured out what I costed my parents.
Oh, gotcha.
And I realized like, oh. And I remember at points when they'd be like, do you need this thing?
Yeah.
And I was like, why are they asking me? Like usually they would do that themselves, so I almost assumed I had to kind of weigh the cost of benefit.
Dang.
And then that wasn't what they were asking. They were just asking like, hey, like,
are any of your clothes, do any of your clothes have tears or
do you need new shoes or something? And it would be like the equivalent of I wanted to say no because I was like,
Yep.
But this is so cute, and we just get to see it here with this ancient dragon who's like, I mean, like, I don't really need this
it's okay,
500 yen thing.
Because like they see how bent over an old lady Kobayashi is, even though she's young, so like they're constantly making fun of it. So it's like, oh right, she's constantly working and stuff like that. Okay, and it's the tender moments that don't need words in order to communicate what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And it's
so perfect.
It's just wonderful.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Yeah. I love it so much.
And then we also got the ridiculously like perfect, just well animated, just dodgeball encounter.
Yeah. And the build up to it too.
I loved that they took me for a ride there. We suddenly went to grayscale.
Yeah,
horrible things.
Everybody's dead,
and I'm like, did they get attacked by another dragon?
Right?
Like, what happened?
I'm glad I like. I feel like I kept a good face on that of being like.
Well, I think I looked at you too late, because by the time I was like looking at the thing, I was trying to catch clues, and then I looked at you, and you just kind of were like. Like you did a good like stern face
yeah,
or what have
sort
you.
of like, yep, this is this is a thing.
I bought it.
Yeah.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Just wow.
Yeah.
And then we end up in this situation where it's not because of any kind of disagreement or what have you.
Yeah.
It's just that, Saikawa, she just wanted to stick it to these boys.
And
or
there was
what have you.
there was the one dude who was like, okay.
He was antagonizing them.
Yeah, he was antagonizing.
Bit.
But then there was the other dude who was perfectly reasonable. He's like, yeah, no, chill. We totally get it.
We get it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, mama's boy. And he's just like, wait,
hold on
what
now.
Did you say?
Yeah.
Did you talk about my mama? What?
and then she just keeps going. Like,
we never even got to see the other three boys behind them, but they were just like grayed over their eyes, just like,
oh man.
Right.
But she cut loose. She did not hold back.
I mean, if they Saikawa, you're lucky. Like you've got like some dragon allies because my god, you would have. You're quite outspoken.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like you start to understand how like she isn't that popular at school because. Oh man.
Yeah.
But then Kanna's like, all right, it's a challenge, and they're like, yeah, let's do this.
I love that. Yeah, Toru and Kanna basically went all out at Fafnir and Lukoa, and just the idea that a lot of people saw them.
Don't
worry, a lot
worry.
of people freaked out.
Yeah,
I'll wipe the memories.
I'll wipe the
everyone
memories
there.
and
It's
reset the
how
ground.
convenient. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This super magic that all the actual like big dragons have
Right.
And the idea that like the way that they had Lukoa basically just be like terrifying boobs, just like Jaws style, like coming after the one kid. He's just like
even throw a ball. Like
she's just walking up to him like
I'm going to hit you with something else that's round. Oh man.
Would you like the ball, these, or me? And of course,
either way,
they were utterly obliterated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting to really understand the appeal of this show, not just from a comedy standpoint, but from the aspect of the family, the odd family.
Yep.
And that is what it is.
It really is. Yeah. And it works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
Like who would have thought, right? That, okay, let's do a slice of life, but with dragons. All right, dragons. Like actual dragons? No, not like, but they're as people. Okay. So anthropomorphized and waifus and all that. Yeah. But let's have it be really, really wholesome. So it gets at some relatable and maybe deeper themes. Okay. Sure.
Well, yeah, I can see how someone came up with this. No, I think it makes perfect sense. It's probably a thing that's been done in other ways.
Sure.
This is just the twist of it, but they're actually dragons,
Mm-hmm. And it's done with this level of like execution.
Right. I think it's more the execution that I'm impressed with. It's just there's so many little jokes in the midst of this that aren't really integral to the family dynamic bit, but they add screen time essentially of them being a family and figuring stuff out.
Yep.
I think there was one towards the kind of the middle to the end that I particularly liked. Or was it in the beginning actually? Oh, the idea that they have her just showing they have
all the different school supplies and things,
just showing how they work or what have you, and just taking kind of a look of specific things, and then like
and kind of wanting everything to be cute,
kind of want everything to be cute, just little things going on in the background. Oh, can I eat this? It's like, nope, don't eat that. And then
them trying to fight with the rulers and everything.
Right, exactly. There's just
like, I mean, because let's be real, who didn't do that as a kid?
Right.
Like that ruler, once it was in your hand, it was a sword. Like,
but yeah, the idea that this is a thing that is a a little cute skit, but it leads towards a natural conclusion that hey, these things cost money, and Kobayashi just had everyone change apartments, so maybe
to a bigger place.
Maybe actually money is a little bit tighter right around now.
Yeah.
So this is something that would make a lot of sense, and it is burst spending, just right off the cuff. So maybe she can totally afford this, but it's something where it's like, oh yeah, I don't have actually the cash on hand, so I'm gonna have to use the credit card. So it might not even been a thing where she's actually worried about being able to pay it off or anything like that.
Right.
It's just the idea of like, oh my god, this is actually a decent amount of money.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to use the credit card. And then Kanna freaks out because she's like, oh, this thing, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that's just.
And then
perfect.
Kobayashi notices and gets it for her.
Gets it for her anyway. I was just like, oh.
Yep, my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Toru is still being Toru.
Definitely.
But I like that when they choose to focus on one member of the family, in this case, Kanna, this episode, we get a lot of little moments that are all rather precious, because I feel like some of the dynamics of the characters are going to get repetitive over time.
Okay.
Like Toru is, oh, give me something too. Give me something too. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's cute. But I like that when we're giving someone the focus, that's where the deviations occur. And we have little standout, memorable moments.
Oh, yeah.
That have to do with the character themselves and not just their archetype, if you will.
Right.
There was one thing that I didn't really mention when we were talking about the thing of differences. The idea that Toru kind of recontextualized the moment where she smashed the purse thief.
Yeah.
The idea that, everyone was cheering her and praising her, but there was that brief moment before they started cheering and praising her.
Right.
Where maybe they were deciding whether or not this scared them.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a cool little bit, because her character is the one that has the most dramatic potential within her backstory.
Right.
Like, she was being hunted or something, or
and
was like
mentally she was not in a good place when Kobayashi found her.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some aspect of this show in regards to like linear continuity where there could be the characters bringing up like wanting to be done with Dragon Society eventually entirely,
maybe,
or even just
who knows, fully
giving up on being a dragon and trying to be human. And I could see that being a thing specifically for Toru. But it's a very cute episode, adorable. Wonderfulness. Yeah. And and then the ending was, of course, hilarious. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. You can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep. Battle Lines, it's really cool. It's on Amazon. Link in the description. Go get it.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.